Now, one of the most common complaints, I guess, that I hear from residents has to do with trains. And apparently there's a major problem with trains blocking crossings in Olmsted Falls and for prolonged periods of time. Is the city doing anything about this? Can the city do anything about this? And I guess we're starting to
I think we have, and it was rightfully so. Mayor Bloomquist championed the overpass, you know, on Columbia Road, and it actually took years and years and years to get done, but the railroad's they're not easy people to work with. And now we've got the one in the township over on Fitch Road. It's alleviated a lot of that problem. It still would be nice to have the 5 crossings that were you know, now with the one at Stearns Road, we'll have one at Stearns, we'll have one at Fitch, we have one down in Columbia. Hopefully we can get one someday over at the eastern end, maybe on Lewis Road. That would alleviate 75% of the problem. You've got an overpass, an underpass, something. It gives you a way around the trains, you know, but these things they do work very, very slowly, and it takes time. We find the trains, we find the conductors, we find the engineers. We wrote legislation to deal with that, to try to find these people, but they're too big, they don't care. You know, they just don't, and it's unfortunate, but we have to deal with trains, planes, and automobiles. Right.
So is it that they're broken down, or what's the problem?
No, I think they use it as a holding area sometimes until they're told they can't do that, you know.
All right, Mrs. Garrity.
Okay, as far as the trains, I love the sound that the trains make, but I hate being blocked by the trains. But I do have to say a couple things. First, the current mayor, Donegan, she's been meeting with the railroads, and that's never happened before. And so we're trying to work with the railroads. They are a giant. They're the largest property owner in the country. And I think our way around it with the traffic congestion is by these overpasses, underpasses. And I'm in Ward 3, so we are really glad that residents in Ward 3, because this new overpass on Stearns, that's going to be such a huge help for Ward 3. And we have a couple large developments in there that are really heavily populated. And when I was going door to door getting my petition signed, people are just waiting with bated breath for that to occur. And that's about 1.5 years out. So I've been trying to tell people we have about 1.5 years. But Fitch Road is also, I think, the overpass is a blessing to the city, because we just need, I think, to work around the trains. We're not going to be able to prevent them as they come into the yards in Berea if they're stalled. The only thing we can do is encourage the police to find them, and there's been a lot of resistance with the police department to actually find the trains as they're blocking. So I think we're working around them.
Okay. Mr. Miller?
Obviously, trains blocking traffic is a huge issue, and with the fines set up, I think we need to do a good job, and I think we all are moving in that direction in the city to really be enforcing these fines. As Linda said, oftentimes it's hard to actually go out there and be effective in collecting these fines, but I think that's where it's important to have an effective and an efficient government, so that way all of the residents throughout the city know that this is happening and know there are consequences for these prohibitions.
The railroads were a big problem and a focal point in my administration, obviously, and a result of working with the railroads on that, they again was able to secure monies to go ahead and get the underpass done on Columbia. That was important for public safety. We had 84 trains a day on the north tracks at the time, and about 80 on the south tracks, the CSX line. So you have 2 different operators, each operating about 80 trains every 24-hour period. What that causes is it takes about 5 minutes for a moving train to pass. You know what I mean? You're blocked in your 7 city streets at the time. You know, we're blocked like, I think like 17 to 20 hours a day. And that's with a moving train. What really exacerbates the problem is when they do stop or stall on the tracks, they are long enough to block multiple crossings. Again, by work on that, and with, again, former Congressman Kucinich, we were able to get funding for an overpass. Initially slated for Fitch Road. Again, local jurisdiction, the township wanted to move that to Stearns. We kept at it, we worked with people, and eventually we got 2 out of there. And they were built in that subsequent fashion. Fitch for a reliever on North 252, so that it didn't disrupt and eliminate our historic downtown. And again, those are where the max trains were, and that's where you had the relief. Now, when I was mayor, I had the police department not just fine the train for blocking a crossing, but if that train blocked several crossings, again, it was a $7,000 fine established by state law for each crossing blocked. So again, we try and get their attention, but they treat it as a cost of doing business.
Okay. Did anyone want to take advantage of a 60-second follow-up on trains?